Hello all you wonderful beings out there, and welcome back to another episode of What is the Fox Play with Phoenix Firestar. Now, we are going to be delving back into the world of Pokemon and raising up some of these water types. I got like 1 billion of now. That are really low leveled compared to where they should be. But you get water types late in this game. Hello, Pocky. Welcome back to the stream. Oh, thanks, I appreciate that. There you go.
Thanks.
Welcome. You need to shut that door.
Can I sit on your bed?
Huh?
Can I sit on your bed?
Yeah. Are you gonna get your DS so you can play Pokemon too?
My grandma has it.
Grandma has it. Why does she have it?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Well, yesterday I got grounded from it. But I didn't ask her if I'm ungrounded from it.
You got grounded from it.
I didn't ask if I'm ungrounded from it.
Well, shouldn't you ask if you want to play it?
She can't hear me.
Protect the squishy.
Water's really good against ground.
Yeah, that would be the case if I had any water type attacks. But no, I don't. So I just gotta sit here and pretend to do something useful.
Wow. You got your Pikachu. That is very poor. Okay.
Yes, I gotta send out Sparky to protect the squishy.
What did you name the octopus squishy?
Huh?
Why did you name that Pokemon squishy?
Because he's a jellyfish.
Oh yeah, they are squishy.
And Dory calls a jellyfish her squishy on Finding Nemo. That is the origin of that name.
True. And jellies are squishies. And jellyfish are made of squishies too.
Back down here I go.
Daddy,
Yes.
you know I went through that cave. Right?
Yeah. Diglett Cave isn't that hard to get through.
Yeah, there's like 2 caves in the game. Right?
Yeah, it's a very small cave.
Stardy?
It's a Staryu, yep.
What did you name that?
Patrick.
Oh yeah, because he's a starfish.
Mm-hmm. May I take your hat, sir? May I take your hat, sir?
I love that episode. Maybe I should watch it. I'm going to watch SpongeBob.
Alright. Have fun, mister. The Squishy needs to hurry up and level up. So, Pocky, what has your day been like, huh? Well, I'm glad I can help with that. Today was a trip for me. Work was super busy. We had almost nobody there. And, like, despite the fact that I was scheduled to, well, sort of, it's like, I was actually scheduled to open up the self-checkout today. But when I got into open, I found a note saying that, hey, the first cashier who's supposed to come in like an hour isn't going to be here. It's like, okay, so everyone's just really coming through U-Scan for an extra, like, hour or something. Luckily, they managed to get a hold of someone and have them come in, but we still only had, like, one person from, like, their 8 o'clock, no, 7 o'clock until they got in. The person they called in got in half an hour later than what the normal person would normally be in at 7. So they came in at 7:30, and then we didn't have someone else come in until, like, 9. And then that was it. No one else came in after that. Until I left at like 2:30 in the afternoon. Except for my replacement and the opening office replacement. Who both came in at 1:30. But yeah, like, and the person who opened the office was the front-end manager. But she has never actually opened the front end before. At least not with all the new system and equipment that we have, and computers and stuff. She had to keep calling all these other employees on their day off and be like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? I'm like, I'm sure they'll forgive you. I mean, old lady and technologies don't usually mix all that well. Right, and then she was so overwhelmed and so far behind on the opening office work that as soon as 9 o'clock rolled around and the next person came in, she had them get the opening cashier off and have the opening cashier come get me off so I could watch the office while she tried to catch things up. And so I spent most of my day in the office despite the fact that I was actually scheduled to run U-Scan today. I thought it was funny because I actually spent more time in my office scheduled to run in the office today, scheduled to run U-Scan, than I normally spend to be in the office when I'm actually scheduled for the office. And there was just something up with people today. Ooh, finally, level 16. Like, one guy got mad because, like, one of the self-checkout machines didn't spit out a 20 for his change when he asked for 20 back. Instead, he got, like, a 5, 4 ones, and, like, 4 quarters or something. And he, like, demanded that or he snatched it up, took it all the way up to the office, and then demanded that I give him a 20 back instead. I was like, well, if you pull it from the machine, I'm not allowed to change it for you. And he goes, are you telling me that all those other people who do it weren't supposed to? I'm like, yeah. If other people are doing it, they're not supposed to. And so he went back and found something that was like a quarter and demanded that if he gave me all that money and then a quarter, I'd have to give him 20 back in change. And I was like, that's not how it works. And he goes, yes, it is. I'm a customer. I tell you that's how it works. I'm like, that's really not how it works. Oh yeah, dealing with people is the best thing ever. Oh no. I mean, people were charged up today, but thankfully I didn't really run into any Karens. I had a lot of, hey, isn't it unfair to exclude older people who don't know how to work the app from getting coupons? And just like all of the coupons are available in other places except for the Kroger online exclusive digital coupons. And in that sense, it'd be just as fair as saying, well, you can't have these coupons in this magazine unless you buy that magazine. So we're not charging you for it. They don't like that answer, though. I just tell them, it's not up to me. I mean, especially when they're like complaining that there's not enough people and that I need to put more people on the front. I'm like, look, it's not up to me. Do you think I want to be up here by myself running a register, having to bag and watch The Office all at the same time? No, I don't want to do all that by myself. I don't get paid any more, any less to do all of it. I get it the same amount to do all of it as I would if I wasn't doing any of it. Yeah. But what was it? I think, like, we get some good ones, though. But it just feels like the bad ones outweigh the number of good ones, mostly because most of the good ones either don't say anything, or, like, they're so few and far between, it feels like the bad ones heavily, they weigh on you more than the good ones do. Well, like, I know, like, what was it, like, a couple months back, or not, maybe not quite a month, we had this lady come in with her daughter, and I was like, I don't really know how old the daughter was, but she was at least, like, older teens, young adult, maybe. But anyway, we're sitting there talking, or I start talking to him about, hey, have you ever heard of, Chapalian preparation with the meat? And the lady's like, no, I haven't. And I was like, oh, I have. I found out about this show called Food Wars. I'm like, ah. I was like, yeah, that's where I learned it from. And she's like, oh, is that a good cooking show? I'm like, yes. But we got to talking about, like, curry, because the daughter was making curry that day, and I was like, I've been meaning to try to make curry, like, because I've been interested in making curry, but I don't want my first time having curry it to be, like, frozen, pre-made curry. I want, like, actual, authentic curry. Well, I can't really say necessarily that me, making curry is any more authentic than than pre-made curry, but I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that my curry would be a little better than frozen curry. And, so we're sitting there, we were talking about different kind of foods, and, like, how I make my burgers usually with the diced up onion and all that, and I'd made French onion soup, and when I made French onion soup, I actually thought of it beforehand, because I knew that you can't leave the thyme and the, what is it, the bay leaves in the soup. And so I had the bright idea of, oh, I'll just go down the lunchbox aisle and the tea and coffee aisle, and I got myself one of those little tea infusers. And it's a little plastic frog sitting on top of a lily pad with a metal cage on the bottom. And so I put the thyme and the bay leaves in that, and let it sit there and float in the soup while I was cooking it. Well, the girl's like, you can't do that. I'm like, it's a tea infuser. That's what you're supposed to do, is just stick it in hot water and let it infuse the leaves into the tea without leaving dregs in it. And my grandma was like, no, you can't cook plastic. I'm like, I'm not cooking plastic, I'm boiling water. That's essentially all you do when you cook soup, is you boil water and add other stuff to it. My grandma didn't think it was a good idea, but I still did it. So then when I was done, all I had to do was pick up the frog, untwist the cap, dump the bay leaves and the thyme out. Well, it turned out really good. Everyone just ate it, like, in a few seconds. And then I got like a loaf of the Hawaiian sweet loaf bread. and I melted an Italian blend of cheeses over the top of it when toasting it, and I put that on top of the French onion soup, which was nice because the sweetness of the bread went well with the like tanginess of the onion, I guess is the word for it. I don't know, I didn't go to cooking school. I just throw stuff together based on what I think would work well. But, so we were talking about, you know, the French onion soup and the curry we were planning to make, and I was like, yeah, I thought when I did the curry, I'd do the chicken with a honey rub before boiling it in with everything else to, you know, help tenderize the chicken and help it cook better. And then I got some cocoa powder so I can experiment with some of the hotter spices and add in a little bit of the cocoa powder to temper the heat, but not actually affect the flavor of the spices. They're like, well, I didn't know you could do that. I'm like, yeah, I learned that from anime too. Black Butler. Which... But when I was talking, yeah, something about, like, the cocoa powder. Probably just, like, the straight cocoa bitter counteracts the heat spice. But you can't add too much of it, of course. You have to kind of try and balance it out. Like everything else, because all spice is like a tightrope. But anyway, it got to be where me and the dog were just sitting there talking about different food and preparation methods and stuff. And I think we were also talking about, like, how we were also wanting to do, like bun, like, you know, the little steam buns or whatever at some point, also. And the mother was sitting there talking to the background. I was talking to the daughter, and she goes, you know, I have never seen two people so much alike like that. Then when they were leaving, she told the daughter, she's like, hey, you should ask him for his number so you guys can talk more about anime and cooking later. I think she embarrassed the daughter. Because she left without saying anything else after that. But, speaking of something like that, though, like, the other day, I was having a D&D session with my two cousins and my friend. And we're sitting there playing, and my mom comes through, and she goes, oh, by the way, Cha-Cha, that's one of my friend's screen names. I'm gonna use that instead of his actual name. And she's like, you know, I have this friend whose daughter would just be perfect for you. We started going on about it, and then, you know, after shooing her away after, you know, a couple minutes of her trying to talk my friend into dating her friend's daughter, my friend talked to me after the session. He's like, isn't it a little weird that your mom is trying to set me up with someone and not you? I'm like, honestly, yes, it is a little weird. Because, you know, it makes a little more sense when, you know, a mother's trying to set up her kid with someone. But when you're trying to set up your friend's kid, well, my mom is a complete trip. I love her, but, like, a rock might place higher on an IQ test, sadly. But anyway, like, the next time we had a D&D session, as she came through, I was like... She said something to us. I was like, oh, are you done? Or are you going to try and set someone else up besides your son with one of your friend's kids? She's like, it's not like that. I just don't think you two would get along. I'm like, right. And she's like, well, she's a bit of a drinker. And she was like, oh, or my friend Chacha was like, oh, so you're trying to set me up with a drunk? And she's like, no, she doesn't drink like that. It's just, Phoenix, you're a bit of a buzzkill. Like, oh, geez, thanks. She's like, well, you don't do that sort of stuff. I'm like, yes, but that doesn't mean I can party down like the rest of them. Oh yeah, but like, I know that like one day my mom went over to, what was it, Walgreens, I believe it was? Yeah, I think it was Walgreens. Oh no, sorry. I started to teeter off into another story that that I'll probably tell later, but what I wanted to talk about now was when she went to a Dairy Queen. And so she pulls up at the, the order board. And she's like, oh, I'll take a 12-inch chili cheese dog. So she pulls around to the window. And she's like, and they're like, well, here's your foot long, ma'am. And she looks at him real weird and she goes, I didn't order a foot long. I ordered a 12-inch. Yeah. Yeah. And now, back to the Walgreens. So, the first time, the first Walgreens incident that I'll tell you about is she left me and my two sisters in her van. So, we're sitting there and we're trying to get along. She's in there for a few minutes, so she comes running out and we're like, oh look, here she is, we can finally get going. And here she comes running up to the car, walks right past us, and goes to get into the car next to her van. And we sit there and watch for a good 2-3 minutes of her trying to break into someone else's car. Before I grab the handle of her van door, slide it open, and I go, hey Mom, your kids are over here in the van. Now, she claims that that car was the same kind of car she had. But she had a full-out van, and this was just a car. And she's like, well, it was the same color. I'm like, no, Mom. Your car is like a weird, like, dark navy color. And the car over there is just like blue. Just like straight up blue. Not dark, just blue. So this other time we go to Walgreens, we decide to go in with her so she doesn't lose us in another car this time. And we're in there, she pulls some milk out of one of the out of the cooler. And she goes, you know what? I don't think we really need milk. We got plenty. And she puts it back in the fridge. We go up to the front. We're checking out. We check out. We go to leave. And we're like, oh, good. She didn't do anything this time to embarrass us. And then, before we're out the door, she stops and turns around, runs back over to the counter, grabs the milk from the people who were in line behind us, and starts to run out the door with it. And everyone's sitting there staring at her, and we're like, Mom! And she's like, what? She goes, and we're like, we didn't get milk. And she goes, what do you mean? Of course we got milk. I'm like, no, you put it back, because we had milk. And she's like, oh, she turns around and puts the milk back down and look at it and goes, sorry. Forever. Like, I've told people before, it's impossible for them to do the yo mama jokes, because all of them are in reference to my mom. Like, one day, she calls me into a room because she can't get the DVD player to work. And I'm like, what? She's like, this DVD player won't work. What's wrong with it? I look at it. I go, Mom? And she goes, what? And I go, it's not plugged in. She goes, what do you mean it's not plugged in? Of course it's plugged in. I'm like, no, Mom. Look at the box. You see the power cord coming off the back of it. You carried it to the wall, and you dropped it in front of the outlet. She sat there and looked at it for a second, looked at me, looked back at the DVD player, looked back at me and goes, you will speak of this to no one. And of course, I tell everyone. Now, comparing my mom to a rock might have been a little bad, a little offensive to The Rock. Let's say Patrick Starr might score a higher score on an IQ test than her. Brutal, but fair. But she's my mom, despite everything that she does. I love her. To some extent of the word. She's my mom. Yes, it ends wholesome and cute after I just slaughtered my mom's name for like half an hour. You know, I didn't ever, you know, like, come out as a furry to my family of my own choice. The guy that my ex cheated on me with decided to tell them, which was mortifying. And they're real iffy about the whole thing. Well, it wasn't my friends that he told, it was my family that he told. And so, like, what was it, like, a couple, like, the birthday after she found out? No, they don't really get that. Like, the year after, for, like, my birthday, my mom got me a dog chew toy for my birthday. That squeaks. Now, you see, I go with you on that, but it's my mom. How much thought do you think this woman was able to put into this? That's the real question there. Oh, and it still hits. Oh, and it's a critical hit. Oof. Well, I mean, at least it was you who did it. Considering the material, I mean, you kind of usually have to swallow in those situations.
Game Boy back.
Alright, so you gonna play Pokemon with me then?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Hey, I have that badge. I have that badge.
Yep, you do. I got 3 badges and 94 Pokemon. So you got a ways to catch up, don't you?
I don't want to catch up. I'm just going to go back to a million City.
You're gonna need to catch up, mister.
I want to see my mama. And I'm hauling for my mama in this game.
Huh?
I'm hauling for my mama in this game.
Why?
Because I want my mama. Wait. What does that say?
Squishy learned Poison Sting.
Oh, so that's squishy.
No. That's Squishy.
And what's that other one that he had out?
That is Spike.
Oh yeah, because he has spikes.
Yeah.
And he's a seahorse? Why did you not name him Seahorse? Because he's a seahorse.
I mean, OG Pokemon Mom didn't even give you shoes. She's just like,
Hey.
alright, see you later.
How do you like my big bro?
Nice.
It's a big in the bro. So I'm a bro big. So I'm a big bro. Mind.
Well, I know you like play like what, Generation 3 and Generation 4? I was gonna say, because this is Generation 1, but it's like the 1.5 generation, technically. Because this was back when they used to do they do 2 games and they release a 3rd one as like a mix of the 2 with some extra features. Like the definitive edition. Yeah, but they're not going to. For several reasons. On top of the fact that they specifically stated that we were getting Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra instead of a 3rd game. They were DLC to Pokemon Sword and Shield. That each one added like 100-something Pokemon to the Galar decks. Each one added a whole new story to the game, among other things. Oh, it wasn't too bad. I mean, like, I had my concerns about Pokemon having DLC. But it was definitely worth it, and it cost less than actually purchasing a 3rd game. Because, like I said again, each one added like 100+ something Pokemon to the Pokedex. And each one had its own story. And each one's added things to the games. And like one of them you could even access like immediately in the story, and the level of its trainers there and the wild Pokemon that you would run into would scale based on how many badges you had. And it was like the first real instance I've seen where someone actively cheats. That's an NPC in Pokemon, and they literally state that they cheated. Yeah, it was like this trainer that you've been competing with through like the whole game. The whole little side story. And they get mad because you've beaten them like every time. And so they're like, you know what? I'll just do this to the battlefield before we battle. But depending on the version that you got, whoever you fought would change, and what they did to the battlefield would change. Like, I think in Pokemon Sword, which is the one I played on stream, it was... I cannot remember her name, but she was a Poison-type trainer. She went out there and she put poison spikes on the ground before your battle, so any Pokemon you would send out would be poisoned right off the bat. And then, I think her name was Kara, or Clara? Might have been Clara, I think. And then if you got Sword, it was Avery, and he was a Psychic-type trainer. But I think what he did to the field was he did something to him. I think it was like he made the terrain weird, or whether the one that increases the power of Psychic and Fairy and Dark types or something. But I totally cheated on Claire, because the first thing I sent out was my Venusaur, and it's poison type, so it couldn't get poisoned. So her toxic spikes didn't do nothing. I'm like, oh, were you trying to cheat? I don't know, Sean, maybe switch to something else so you can poison them. No, they're actually pretty good, and I know, like, Crown Tundra added in, like, a whole new section where, like, you could farm some legendary Pokemon in their shiny forms, which you couldn't get before this game. And it could be done multiplayer, which people loved. Yeah, it was like Den Raid battles, where you and up to 3 other players would fight a Gigantamaxed Pokemon that had, like, buff stats. It was kind of like a boss battle type deal. And at the end of it, you had the option to catch the Pokemon. And I think, like, in the end... total, like, you had like a 1 in 4 chance of getting a shiny if you had like max shiny odds with the shiny charm and everything. Yeah, it's the highest odds that there have been, minus Gen 2 using the shiny breeding method would get you a 1 in 64 chance. Or no, the cute charm glitch in Generation 4 also had like a 1 in 4 chance or something like that of being a shiny. Yeah, they still have, regional variant forms of Pokemon. However, Mega Evolution does not exist in the Galar region. Instead, what they have is Gigantamax and Dynamax. And Dynamax is just it's where they put them back in the Pokeball, and then the Pokeball grows in size, and then when they throw it out, the Pokemon becomes a giant version of themselves. There is, And then they had Gigantamax, which was like Dynamax, except that it was some Pokemon gained a new form or look when they used Dynamax, and would gain a special unique move while in that form. And of course, it buffed their stats some and changed up their moves when they used it. These Doug Trio, they're getting revenge on me for killing their brothers. Yeah, I know, you stopped at like Gen 4. So you're like 4 generations behind. And they're currently working on Gen 4 remakes, and then of course the Legends of Arceus, which is like an open world Pokemon game set in what looks to be like the feudal era. So like all Pokeballs in that one are the apricot or apricorn Pokeballs. Silly me, the apricot's the real fruit. Apricorn is the phony Pokefruit. Yeah, but the black and white era was Gen 5. That's not even that much further ahead. Like, I never stopped playing the games, but I fell out of loop with the anime somewhere like halfway through Gen 4, maybe.
Daddy, early birthday present. New shoes.
Thank you. Let's set them back there.
And I helped.
I actually really like the ice cream Pokemon.
What ice cream Pokemon?
It's in
Icicle?
Gen 5. You won't see it until later.
Is it called Icicle?
No.
But there's another ice Pokemon that was named Icicle.
Yeah,
And Shield and Sword.
I'll let you know, but it's coming up. It's only like...
Daddy?
Hmm?
There's a Pokemon called Icicle in Pokemon 8. Right?
Pokemon what?
In Pokemon 8, there's a Pokemon named Icicle.
No, it's called Ice Cube.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
There's an ice Pokemon in that. Okay. And I read it, which I think I named it Ice Cream. I thought.
Ugh, 1 HP, holding on! I remember like one of the big things though is that like in Generation 1 Machamp can learn a move that can't learn in other generations because it gained the ability No Guard. And it was a one-hit KO move, and they're like, nope, not giving a one-hit KO move to a move with an ability that makes it for moves don't miss. So, like, you can still teach that move, Fissure, to Machamp's line in these old games. But if you try to trade it up, it forgets the move. Mysteriously. Which I think is, like, one of the few moves that does that. I don't think any other move just vanishes if you trade it up. Like, it usually lets you keep the moves, but not that one. Stupid critical hits. Aha, you're paralyzed. What are you gonna do now? Jeez, all these Duck Trio coming after me. They really do got a vendetta. Vendetta! Vendetta! All I see is Sideshow Bob's son. Vendetta! Vendetta! They're getting up there at least. Still a little ways away. Have most of them at least now. I still got a ways to go. Please tell me I already got Porygon. I thought I did. And I was like, I'm not going to sit here and grind on these stupid slot machines until I get 9,999 coins. Because again, it took me hours to get all those coins. All these misses. Jeez, Squishy. That ass was supposed to come with a chance to lower the defenses. I see, when someone else uses it, it's always lowering my defense. When I use it, no. You can't get the defense to go down once in 100 uses. But one thing I figured, though, is once I do complete the complete basic Master Dex challenge, I'll go back, I'll try and do it all shiny. But for that, I'm just going to be, I will follow the same general rules of what game they have to come from. But I will be just breeding for them mostly, or using the most convenient form of shiny hunting up to that point. Like, I know in Gen 2 I can do the shiny breeding, which will give me a 1 in 64 chance of getting getting any one Pokemon shiny through egg. Through breeding. Gen 3. Easiest one for that, I think, is supposed to be RNG manipulation, but I'm not very good at that. I managed to use it like once properly to get a shiny Torchic. But it says that Gen 3 Pokemon aren't necessarily as important if they come from the original Gen 3 game or if they come from the Generation 6 remakes of them. That might be what I do, is do the Gen 3 shiny hunting for the Ruby Emerald Sapphire shiny hunting, all except for, of course, the Feebas and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and the other couple exceptions to what Pokemon has to come from the from the Hoenn region. I think like a couple of the legendaries might not have to, or something in it. I don't remember exactly what the rules stipulated for that. Exactly. Then Generation 4 is the cute charm glitch. Which I'll probably use even though they have the, well, during the back half of it, really, they introduced the Poke Radar. And I think in Gen 5, that's all they have for shiny. They introduced the shiny charm, I think, in Generations 5. In the second half of it. And then shiny hunting got better in Gen 6, definitely in 7, and then in 8. Which I think they took a step back in 8, kind of. Whew. Oh yeah, doing a complete living dex, like a complete shiny master dex, is gonna be an excruciating challenge. So it's probably just gonna be, you know, shiny hunting in my spare time for the most part. Whew. Yeah, just the only real problem would be trying to come up with all that filler content to do, stuff to talk about, while I'm sitting there for hours trying to get one shiny. With the exception of all the newer stuff in newer generations, like even the 1 in 64 feels like it takes a while. Simply because of how long it took to hatch eggs in Generation 2. Because, I mean, they didn't even, Really? You flagged Foxy? The auto mod flagged the word Foxy. Maybe it thought you were talking about Foxy from FNAF. Well, no, I cleared Foxy. But that time it flagged the word before it, the 3 dots, and then Foxy. My auto mod must think really highly of me if it thinks I'm going to be worried about those words. Yeah, like I said, I must have a higher opinion of me than I do have of myself. Oh, that's right. After this, I could stream the new update to Pokemon Snap. I had forgotten that came out today. Oh yeah, I did a whole playthrough of the Switch one. Like, I think I photographed every Pokemon for the most part, except for the legendaries that are added in after you beat the game. Well, there still might have been a few Pokemon I was missing or something, but... But yeah, I am tired. But yeah, I know they added in, like, new routes where you could shrink your, thing. Yeah, and having to be in bed as soon as I got home from work yesterday. And then, I didn't fall asleep until, maybe, an hour or something afterwards. Of when I was supposed to be asleep. At least. And having to get up so early and then work with so little staff at work, and then coming in here and then sitting down to do this. It's been a busy day. Speaking of stuff I need to get done, and it's busy work, there was another game I was working on, which is supposed to be a little more like a, no, it does not. It's actually less normalized this week than usual. But I'm working on the ideas for a open world game where you can choose to play as a monster or a hunter, and as you hunt in the open world, either as the monster or the hunter, you can either evolve your monster to make it a better predator, or you can play as a hunter and use your trophies to purchase new and better gear to make you better at hunting monsters. Like, to be honest, this is what I expected from the game Evolution, and it was... or Evolve, and it was nothing like that. And I was super disappointed because I hyped that game so much up in my head, thinking about what it could be and not about what it was. How dare you scratch me? Stupid Diglett's just digging all the time. Dig a tunnel, dig a tunnel. Dig a tunnel, dig another tunnel. Stop. What was that? Quick before the hyena comes. Oh, Lion King 1.5. I'm trying to think, was that like earlier in the Disney straight to DVD versions of movies, or was that like the later end of it? I think it might have been the later end of it. But I don't quite remember. Yeah, I don't quite remember. Like, what end of the spectrum that was on. Although, at work today, though, we did get to have a conversation about how it's weird how, like, there's such a gap in what one generation had to another that it's just like some things just completely drop off radar and kids don't even know it existed. Like, I think we started talking about it because, Flubber. I brought up the movie Flubber. And I was like, it's amazing to think that some kids these days don't know about some of the things that just existed in our childhoods. Like Flubber. And I'm saying that as this mother and her kid were up there at the register, and she's like, oh my gosh, I love Flubber. Her kid goes, what's Flubber? Or no, it was the bagger goes, what's Flubber? The cashier behind us like slammed his hands on the table and goes, what? You don't know what Flubber is? He's like, I'll let you borrow my copy. He goes, but it's on VHS. And he goes, what's a VHS? I was like, oh right, because they never transferred Flubber to DVD. I'm like, oh, well, I mean, look it up on Disney Plus. I'm sure it's on Disney Plus. He's like, I don't have Disney Plus. What are you doing with your life? Get on Disney Plus. So you don't have to pay like $40 the next time Disney decides to release something from its vault. You hear that, Disney? Release Flubber from the vault. Think of all the marketing you could do selling Flubber. Like how even when Invader Zim ended, Grr was on everything. For those of us who fondly remember Grr. Yes, I said Grr, G-I-R. Yes, from Invader Zim. Which Netflix just put out a new movie for Invader Zim on Netflix. Enter the Fnorpus. Which is actually really good. Invader Zim was one of those really dark television shows. I remember watching it and I'm like, wow, this is dark. How is this a kid's show? And why is it on Nickelodeon? I expect this sort of thing from Cartoon Network, but Nickelodeon? Of course, my whole experience with Nickelodeon up to that point had been like, the darkest thing they had was Are You Afraid of the Dark, which was just an R.L. Stine ripoff. And then, like, the second darkest thing they had was that, like, Temple Run for teenagers, or whatever it was on Nickelodeon, which had its own video game. I think, like, the Super Nintendo or something. I don't know how you don't know what those are, Pocky. I mean, like, I'm only, like, what, 4 years older than you or something? There shouldn't be that much of a gap. So, yeah, you're 3 years younger than I am. So there really shouldn't be that much of a gap. I don't know, but I also remember things that probably helped contribute to the whole furriness with, like, extreme dinosaurs and street sharks. And Disney's Robin Hood. Which actually did get a DVD release. You know, that was one of the few video game series I oddly did not touch when I was younger with Star Fox. Probably because I didn't have a lot of my own money for video games, and my family didn't really like video games to begin with. So my selection was very small and mostly included Pokemon. And Zelda games. I had quite a few Zelda games, collectively. I keep asking people about this one, and, like, it keeps going over everyone's head, or they don't know what it was. It was, Custom Robo, which I really want them to make another one of. It was on the GameCube, I believe. But it was like everyone had, like, these little robots that they built them, and you had to, like, you could collect parts through fighting and stuff. And you could customize your little robot, and it was kind of like miniature Gundams. In a way. But you could equip, like, Gatling guns and all this other stuff to them, and it was pretty neat, and they fought in, like, giant arenas. Well, I think it came out in the era where there was, like, a billion Gundam knockoffs, because that was, like, the era of anime robots. So I am sure at some point you saw something very much like it. Even if it's not it. But I think in that time period there's also, like, Chibi Robo, and I feel like there was more than that too. Beetleborgs or something, I want to say. Of course, I also remember a time when Toonami was not part of Adult Swim, but was like a part of the regular everyday lineup. And they had stuff like Code Lyoko on it. Yeah, Toonami used to be a thing for, you know, teenage audiences during the middle of the day. And then it just became adult animation at night on Adult Swim on the weekends. Or one day of the weekend in particular. But it used to be all week at a certain time period. And you could watch, like, Naruto on it, and the name of which anime I do not speak. Because even saying the name kills brain cells. Though I've heard there are people who like it. Like, we didn't have internet. We barely had a computer. I don't even know if we had a computer, to be honest, in that time frame. Get critical hit back. It's like the only time I got to play any MMOs was like on my friend Cha Cha's brother's profile on his computer in high school when I went to go hang out at his house overnight. And then I'd be up until like 4 or 5 in the morning playing WoW. Mistakenly trying to roleplay on an MMO game. Yeah, see, Neopets was one of those things I missed because the only computer access I had was at school. And of course, my future probably suffered for it. I think computers was like, what, one of the last few, like, real technologies our world put out that wasn't just something else that had just something else added onto it. Because, like, it seems like a lot of our scientists or inventors are getting lazy now, and they're just adding something to something that already exists. They're not really innovating to make new things. And that saddens me. It's only just now becoming mainstream, yeah, but I mean, in the end, it's still just a better version of something that we already had. Like, I'm sure if you were to go back in time, like, X number of years and tell someone that there'd be such a thing as a laptop, they'd be like, you mean computers are going to be the size of a whole table? It doesn't sound possible. And you know that'd be the exact reaction, too. They'd be baffled. Do you think they'd have to drag a whole building behind us just to get anywhere? And then they would have thrown me in a loony bin, which at the time I think was like, their idea of helping people was to like torture them. Try and make them better. That was awful though, just... Well, they do, but it's a different kind of torture. It's less physical now. See, this is really what I wanted my channel to be right here, is playing video games and just kind of chilling with people and talking with them and hanging out and just talking about stupid stuff. Because it reminds me of the good old days where two people sat on a couch and played a video game together. Then I remember a time when online gaming was actually decent. I'm gonna say, well, if it comes down to it, like, brand management is always I can just, like, I don't know, sell some bathwater or something. Just kidding, though. Kidding about the whole bathwater thing. It's a topical joke. It's topical. Ugh, this Doug trio just wanted to ruin my day. Ruin my day. It's a Karen. But, speaking of Karens, my grandma got mad the other day when my niece mentioned something about some lady being a Karen. And she's like, what? Like, I think my grandma took it as it was supposed to be a slur to, in general, to older white women. I was trying to explain to her that, well, that is a number of them. It's not that in general. It's more of a blanket term for people who cause issues when they you have no reason to really cause issues. Oh, critical hit. Stupid Doug Trio. Nicholas Cave isn't really a bad place to train necessarily, except for everything knows dig, and the occasionally running into like a level 32 Doug Trio. Anything else is like a level 15 to 20 usually. Yeah, I really can't convince her that that's not what that is, but, you know. Our grandparents are weird and stubborn. They like to think they know more about things than they actually know. Apparently this time, Automod didn't like boomers and Karens. Patrick learned how to get hard. Yay. Yeah, Twitch is trying to cover its basis, I think, for the most part. Because I know, like, YouTube for a long time got away with whatever. And then with that whole, Kappa thing, they got hit real hard. It was just completely blindsided by it. And then they had to really kind of, like, crack the whip on things. But, like, at the same time, though, like, they're kind of starting to crack down a lot more when, like, they really became commercialized. And they're trying to save face for their advertisers, which usually has worse content than the actual content givers. Providers, the content providers. Like, I know, like, how they kind of work with their... Unfortunately, how YouTube works with their whole, like, strike system is this... They allow people, like, companies to put, like, auto mods in the system that track and hunt for particular song, like, phrases and stuff like that. And so when it catches one, it auto flags it as being a copyright infringement, regardless of whether it actually is or not. And then if you try to fight it, the claim, YouTube sends a message back to the person who flagged it saying, hey, they're claiming yada yada yada. Do you want to accept their claim? And they don't have... So it's really just up to the people who flagged it in the first place of whether or not that you're allowed to use it or not, regardless if it's actually theirs or if it's actual copyright infringement or not. Because I know I was playing Hitman... Once I was doing the Hitman 1 stuff on the Hitman 2 game, and it flagged this Beethoven song. But it was flagged for being specifically sung by a particular choir, and I'm like, there's no way to tell if that's the exact choir. And two, that song is so ancient, and it's built into the video game, so there's literally no way for me to, you know, scrub it out or... you know, whatever. But you know, I put in the counterclaim, never heard anything back from them. Even though I took the time to look up sources and everything. And I was like, nope, it says right here, Hitman 2 uses the song from the original Beethoven's recording of like the original Beethoven, you know, song with this choir or whatever. Nope, remains flagged to this day, because no one ever bothered to actually check it. Why? Because YouTube asked the person who flagged it to tell them whether or not it's actually being copyright infringed. Because YouTube doesn't want to check it. They don't want to hire the people to actually check it. You can probably go ahead and flag this video too for these comments on your social system there, YouTube. Go ahead, I don't make money off your platform anyway. Either that or just fix your system. Put a little effort into it. It's like how there's like a stupid clause in everyone's contracts wherever they work that says while you're working, or anything that you experience while working here, you cannot badmouth this company or make claims that may put this company in a bad light. Like, you're not even allowed to talk about stuff that the company just did if they feel like it'll put them in a bad light. and it's stupid. Because that's how things grow and things change. Is by people talking about, you know, the mistakes and issues things have so that can be fixed. If there's no dialogue, there's no change. But in the end, I mean, I guess that's why corporations really run and own America at this point. Because, like, I know there's, like... Yeah, because it's like... There are countries where the government completely runs things, and you're not allowed to, like, badmouth the government or talk about the government. Here, you're allowed to badmouth and talk about the government however you want. Just not, you're not allowed to talk about corporations like that, because corporations are the ones who actually run everything. So, weird how that works, isn't it? Well, it's like the things that are in charge you're not allowed to talk about. But here, you're allowed to talk about whatever you want to about the government. But when you start talking about corporations now... It's like there was serious talk around a KF console, which was going to be a gaming console that was like a mini PC put out by the KFC company that would use the excess heat from gaming to cook food. Which was like the most ridiculous thing ever. And honestly, I don't remember if they just... I don't know if I've heard whether or not they decided to go forward with that or not. Or if it was more like a temporary, like, thing they were just talking about, or a joke. But, I've never once thought, oh my goodness, you know, I love sitting here playing video games. I am absolutely going to need to take a quick little break here and grab myself some fried chicken. But I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the only one who doesn't want fried chicken while gaming. I don't know, maybe it helps oil up and grease the controller to make it more, responsive. All this fried chicken talk makes me want fried chicken. Speaking of, apparently Colonel Sanders also has his own video game now. It is a dating sim. As well as his own movie on Lifetime. I think it was Lifetime. It's called like The Spice of Love or something. I don't know, it was one of those really cheesy names. Which is in and of itself like a story about how some woman falls in love with Colonel Sanders, who's her family's cook. And he has dreams and aspirations of owning a fried chicken restaurant with 13 secret herbs and spices, half of which is probably salt. Oh, was it? Yeah, I think you mentioned that you and Nico of the Silken Voice were dating at one point. On one of the streams, I jumped into your video. And yeah, it was... Yeah, it was a pretty short movie from what I heard about it. But it involved, like... The woman's mother was dating her fiancé behind her back or something. You know, Lifetime movie stuff. How did Family Guy put it? I think it was Family Guy, where they were like, Lifetime, because men will hurt you. I was like, oh, come on, that's not fair. Not all of us. At least some of us not on purpose. Which I think was a better slogan when The Simpsons did it, where they're like, men, we don't know what we did. Oh, critical hit. That was stupid. Yeah, I gotta be honest, I don't know what I'm doing like 99% of the time. The other 1% is me guessing. But the other day, a customer was like, you should know my name by now, right? I've been here so much. I'm like, look, I see roughly 100 plus of you people a day. It's like, I'm lucky I can remember my own name. And to start off, I am not good with names. Like, I might be able to recognize your face if you come in here enough. But even if someone who I was really close friends with, if I knew their name at some point, if I have not seen them for like at least a year, I might even blank on their names. No matter how long we've been friends. Or how close we may or may not have been. Yeah, because I was like, I see 100-something of you guys a day. That's like 600 of you in a week. 700 of you guys in a week. How do you think I'm going to be able to remember any of your names? It's like this one woman we had come in there, and she was like, getting on to me for not knowing the price of something. And she's like, well, you should be able to know the price of everything in the store. I'm like, do you understand how long that would actually take to memorize the price of everything in the store? And we are a small Kroger. Let me get you to understand this. If I was to walk down that aisle right now at the start of the new week for prices, I could maybe get like half of one side memorized before they change the prices that next week. And then I'd have to start over. Finally, you learned something decent, Squishy. Now you can actually fight back against these Diglett. Besides just using bondage on them. Let's see what does more damage. Karate chop or low kick. Or low kick. Now you're really skewing my data here, Doug Trio. Alright, so that's my 2 hours I allow myself for streaming, or I'm allowed to have for streaming in a day. Thank you all for tuning in and supporting. I love you all, you good little beans, and I'll see you on the next What Does the Fox Play with Phoenix Firestar. Have a good night.